Why is curling such a passion for Canadian farmers? We think we know. In farming and curling, the idea is the same. It's about friends and family, teamwork, using the right tools, and getting it done under pressure. That's why New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid are proud to support Curling Canada, helping to grow the game we love. From your team at New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid, here's to success in the field and fun in the rink.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all three.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
I believe hard work and honest sweat are the building blocks of a person's character.
I believe farming nurtures the close family ties that make life rich in ways money can't buy.
I believe that true happiness comes from watching your crops ripen in the field, your children grow tall in the sun, your whole family feel the pride that springs from their shared experience.
I believe in farming because it makes all this possible. Long before the snow begins to melt, planning for the seeding season is underway. Start seeding off strong by using the right drill for the job. New Holland's P2082 disc drill precisely and consistently places seed and fertilizer for rapid nutrient uptake, and it does it all in one pass. Experience equal and even emergence through the innovation of New Holland. To learn more, visit your local New Holland dealer.
Good morning and welcome to the 2019 Women's Ontario Scotties Tournament of Hearts semi-final matchup, brought to you by Curl On and Title Sports Live. My name is Mary Chilvers and I'm joined here by my co-host Danielle Inglis. On our feature sheet this morning, representing the Mississauga Golf and Country Club is Team Justin Murphy. Their opponent from the Woodstock Curling Club is Team Julie Tippin. We can quickly just meet the teams. For Team Murphy, we have Grace Holyoke, Stephanie Matheson, Janet Murphy, and Justin Murphy. Yep. On the Tippin team, we have Tess Bobby, Rachel Strybosch, Megan Balston, and the skip is Julie Tippin.
Really nice. Oh.
So these two teams got into this position two very different ways. So Team Murphy went 5-2 in the round robin, got a direct entry into the semifinals. Well, Team Tippin ended their round robin at 4-3. It had to go through a tiebreaker last night over Holly Duncan, and they prevailed and are here this morning. And so interesting to look at their whole round robin and to see where their wins and losses came from. Now, Team Murphy, their losses came to Team Duncan and Team Ald. They actually defeated Team Tippin 9-5 and defeated Team Homan 8-3. So two very commanding wins. Team Tippin, their losses came to Team Ald, Team Homan, and Team Murphy. But on the other hand, those happened earlier on in the week, and I would argue that this Tippin team has really come into their own throughout this competition, and it's a different team. They're playing with more confidence. They're making more shots at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. And as you can see out here right now already, we have 3 perfect shots being thrown by both teams. So this is looking like it's going to be a great game with lots of rocks in play.
Would expect that too. Justin is really comfortable with rocks in play. She's not afraid to make tough calls, and that confidence, I think, translates down to the rest of the team. They feel that they play well.
Right to nose of it. Go, 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 go.
Team Tippin, they've also been playing with confidence. Yesterday was a huge day for them. They defeated Team Harrison in a do-or-die game. yesterday. So that was a big win. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the tiebreaker later that evening against Team Duncan, where they had a very solid win there. So there's something to be said for getting on a roll and having that momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I would say both teams actually have the momentum coming into this game. So
Team Murphy is on a 3-game winning streak. Just a bit of a rub, just as we're pumping their tires, Mary. But yep, Team Murphy won 9-5 over Team Tippin. Then, of course, that 8-3 win over Team Homan, and then a 6-5 win over Team Horton.
So Justin's got hammer here. She's going to just try to move these around, unlock her back blue rock, push it back to the back 8-ish and get things jiggled around so she could possibly get eventually at that yellow rock that's in there. Might score a couple of points in the first end.
And because they were at 5-2 coming in, they got not only choice of color, but also hammer.
Great shot.
That is a beautiful shot. Just rearrange those angles perfectly. Julie looking a little bit perplexed on this one. I mean,
yeah, I like that.
Suspect that would be the one they would play. Of course, they have to be careful where they roll this to as well. You can see just how much ice they're taking here. There's a lot of curl in the ice, especially inside out.
No. Yep. Hard. Really hard. Hard. Go.
And they got the roll. They would have actually have liked to touch the blue, get their yellow separated so that it's not so automatic, because right now if have Stephanie Matheson throwing the weight, they can hit it right in the pocket, should spill all the yellow rocks.
Oh. No. Whoa. Clean. Just clean. Good stuff.
They'll get the one. Even though they didn't get the pocket, it's still, where they have it, it's a pretty good power position.
Mm-hmm. 9.
Same shot now for Megan Balsden, inside out. Playing the hit.
No. Good.
Actually, that was pretty good where it landed, just unlocking that frozen rock. Still some drag here that can remove all of the blue, all of the yellow rocks at once. But not throwing with just a 10, so.
Just want to roll a few rocks.
So there will still be some yellow left in play by the end of this throw. I think, Mary, this is the difference you see between the men and the women. So at this point, you would see the men blasting it out there, and we'd be looking at probably a blank end by the time all the rocks went flying.
Whoa! Hard curl. Hard.
Whereas this is more redecoration, and may have got some claps from the crowd. However, they left a fairly straightforward double, and Team Tippin can sit 3. So actually it was a big mistake there. You either need to hit it where they did with a blast of weight to remove both the yellows, or hit it on nose and keep their own rocks around in better places.
Yep. Really hard.
This one's really moving.
Hard.
Gonna roll out here.
A bit of a missed opportunity. However, they are still sitting second, third, and fourth shot.
You need a piece of 8.
So Janet Murphy just being asked to draw to the wing. Make them even, no double opportunity for Tippin. Trying to set up her 2 points here in the first end.
Line's good. Line's good. Just starting to curl now. Line's great. 7.
Lots of curl on this
Hard.
inside out
Hard. You should
spot
have
in
it.
the ice.
One. Yep, yep, yep.
Try to even them up here.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Very nice. Good judge.
And they were going for tee, but at the end they were running out of rings, as you mentioned, Mary. So much curl in that spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they'd
If I
swept it
make it- if I
anymore, it
make
would
it
not
one
have been
jam, not
second
enough
shot. So there's a
That was
thin
so
double, but
counting it.
Julie could take it on, or she could
Oh,
just hit shot rock.
Feel? It's pretty nice here.
Julie loves the big shots, so
Mhm.
no surprise here. And there's nice, tasty looking double here.
Yeah.
Feel? Have a third.
Even if she hits too much of this first rock and just rolls in front of the blue rock, that's also a pretty good plan B.
Hard!
Through this tight.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
She did, and with that spot on the ice, you can't be tight
No,
there.
no.
Even if you throw it nice and straight, it's still going
Still
to
gonna
have a
curl.
ton of curl.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nice on one hand, because you know that you can throw it straight and hard, and
Yeah.
it will go.
Yeah, yeah. No
So-
fear really to,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes going to the wings, it can be very straight and any kind of an outward motion, and you're not making it. So I agree. It's nice to have that curl. You know you can throw it just even a tad on the outside. You're still going to make the shot.
Yeah. So Justin Murphy with her first rock of the first end. They would like to place this right on tee so that there is no double available.
Line's the
So-
same as Janet. 7.
Saying it's similar to
Throwing now.
Janet's. However, the difference here is that she has a little more weight, so it's running straighter. You know what, that accomplishes almost the same thing. You can see that 45-degree angle that's created between the two blue rocks. That's pretty hard angle to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're not going to leave a tee, and here's a tip for viewers at home, if you're trying to separate out the rocks, and you, of course, first of all, want to keep them where there's no double available, side by side, far enough apart. But the second best place is at a 45-degree angle to the other rock you have in the house, whether that's 45 degrees above or 45 degrees behind. Here goes Julie Tippin with her last of the first end.
Hard!
That will just be a no. She was attempting the double, but just getting a lot of curl on her rocks this morning. I mean, she's also, her first spot, we talked about how it goes, but also that the spot she just threw around the center line also
This was the
moves.
straightest
Yeah,
one I've
anything
ever
close to center line will move a lot.
Gradual, yeah.
So we got a shot here for 2 for Justin Murphy in the first end.
Hair more. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, she took a hair more ice there again. Yeah, you get anywhere close to that center line, and it's taking off on you.
You can see she threw a nice straight rock, but they're still sweeping hard to hold the line.
Might have a catch. Oh, the good shot.
That's good for a deuce. So with the hammer, Team Murphy picking up their deuce in the first end. You can tell there's tons of movement out on the sheet here. I think the key will be for both skips to pick up on that based on what they've seen and truly believe what they saw. Because even if they were even a hair inside on that, which it didn't look like it, maybe on Julie's first, but it was still moving a lot. And I would say the women have, as a whole, have perhaps not picked up on the curl of the ice quite as well. We had some questions about why some of the rocks might have been not made, or draws had been going through the back, or it looked like some rocks were really far offline, and sometimes it was just the adjustments weren't being made. So that, I think, whichever skip is picking up on that first on the ice here this morning will have a distinct advantage.
Line's good. Same as practice. Line's good.
Justin is calling this first rock into the house.
Starting to curl now.
Top 8, top 4.
6.
You'll probably see a corner guard go up, and then Justin will probably just put a very tight guard on this one.
Beauty.
Very nice shot by Grace Holyoke. Julie's going to hit it. She's probably going to go with the delayed corner guard strategy. She doesn't like it. It's a little too close to the button for her.
Yeah, and you know what? That's been you've seen that a lot on the women's side this year. The rock is in top button, top 4. Play the hit and roll towards the outside, knowing that the opposition is going to hit it. And then once the rock is towards the outside of the house, then you can throw the corner. But in this case, it's a bit of a missed opportunity. But even if Team Murphy hits the rock now, there's more scoring area available, so you could see Julie still throw a corner if this noses.
I would assume she will,
Hard. Hard, Janet, hard. 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 Just a rough slide. Good weight, 9/8.
Probably a little, nerves out there this morning. This is the first time there's only one sheet of play out here, and you're in an arena. It's like curling in a fishbowl. It's really different than being in a curling club atmosphere.
It is, and we have a pretty decent crowd out here this morning for our bright and early game on a Saturday. It's been really nice to see how the people of Elmira and surrounding areas have really come out to support this event. It really has been some fantastic crowds.
Line's good. Go ahead. Still not curling a lot.
This arena is home of the Elmira Sugar Kings junior hockey team.
Nice.
I did my homework, Danielle.
Nicely done. What's nice about this arena too is there's not only the space that you're seeing here, which is usually a hockey ice pad, but there's a second one over just beside us, and then as well as a big pool. So there's been lots of activity around this area, and it's great to see. And I see the hockey players kind of glancing over, going, "What's this? What's going on over here?"
Yes, for sure.
So a great way to sort of expose some people to the sport who might not have otherwise looked twice at it.
Whoa, whoa. Okay. Weight was good, 9/6. No, but still like hitting it. 10?
And Team Murphy would like to see a nose right here, just to control the control zone. And the control zone is sort of between the forefoot area in the top 12 tight guard range.
Curl. Curl. Hard. Hard, hard, hard. You're rolling on. Good. Nice shot.
Now Julie's just going to ignore that. That's not really a threat to them, and they can use their corner guard. Come around, and they want to keep this higher in the rings too. Top 12, top 8 max. Again, this light out of the hand.
Hard.
Or jumped it.
Hard. Hard. All the way hard. Really hard, really hard. Go, 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 go. You got it. Hard. Hard, 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 hard.
I was just never going to get there. However, it did stop in another corner guard position, so now that can allow them to still use it.
So Justin is just drawing over to the opposite side of the rings as where those corner guards are. She doesn't want any play over in that area.
Line's great.
Because she knows that that's how Julie can score a multiple end here. So she's going to just put one on the other side.
It's all right. Just let it sit.
Might be a little deep here. Definitely a little deep.
Stop.
Now, because of that, Team Tippin can try that shot again. This time, Megan Balston throwing the draw around the corner.
Line's a little tight.
Looks like she got that going a bit at the beginning, and it's already going.
Line's good now. Yep. Hard, hard
Should
line.
just dive off this line.
Hard.
She gets a bye. She's got a good one.
Good. Make it curl back. Yep,
Oh, and they did. Great brush. You know what? You don't always have to throw it perfect either, Mary. You just need to throw it so that your sweepers can manipulate it enough. So even though it was a little tight off the bat, by jumping it on the sweeping, you're able to hold the line on it.
So no choice here. Janet's got to try to come around the guard and freeze on top of the yellow rock
to
take that point away from Tippin.
Line's good. 6. Straight, close. Yep. Room. Line's great. Whoa, whoa.
Don't want to bounce off.
Good.
Not bad.
Just past the tee line, back 8, like just a little bit more than your last one.
Yeah, because from the hack you can see that it's about half to 3/4 open. Yeah, beautiful shot there. So they can play the tap right back on it with some nice soft weight.
Yep. Yes. Hard. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa.
Get the tap, avoid the jam, and push it back for 2, and a beautiful shot by Megan Balston.
Just have another look here, Danielle. Yeah, when I mentioned that you didn't want to bounce on Janet's last one, I mean, it looked pretty safe, but it curls so much in that spot. Just a nice little draw weight tap back there, and all of a sudden, Tippin's sitting 2.
9.
They are, though. You can see that the rock's almost fully exposed here, so there is a double available for Team Murphy, though there's lots to jam on back there, too.
Yeah, you would hate to jam on that back blue one. So she, if anything else, just getting the one out of here right now is fine.
Justin Murphy, her first rock of the second end.
Tossed this one a little outside.
Sorry, guys.
Probably maybe upped her weight a little bit too there, Danielle. I know it. She's probably thinking, you know, it really curls in that spot. Just pumped it up a bit.
Yeah, it was even more than just the release on that one. She was just sliding wide right off the bat.
Yeah.
And we talked about you could have a positive turn, maybe even a hair outside on your release there, but you also have to slide up the stick too.
Yeah.
And that was just a dangerous combination if she didn't quite get the slide.
Like those were really fast, like 15. Right. So, but just so yeah, probably like 14.6, 7, 8, 14.8. Yep. Hard.
Going hard for this, but this is going to end up as a halfway guard. So that's a big unforced error there. Again, Team Tippin has the hammer in this end. They really need to get this one in for a third shot. They need to sit 3 after this. They, of course, never wanted to leave a triple, but on the other hand, they needed to be in the house.
You know, the shot I actually liked there, Danielle, is Tippin coming in on the same side and burying 3 on that spot. If she over curls it and sits top 8, she's probably maybe scoring 4 points.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mary, especially because they played that spot so often. They know how it runs. But be Justin with a second crack at this double.
Through that one.
It's like this is all over the guard. It's just an overcorrection there. As we mentioned, she had slid wide and threw it straight on that one, and it looked like she had a good slide but just softed it. And well, there's the confirmation. That's what happened.
Sorry, guys.
So it'll be a draw for 3 for Team Tippin. They are currently sitting 2. That's how quickly an end can turn around, just especially when both teams are playing so well. One shot is the difference. There goes Julie Tippin with a draw to the 8-foot to pick up 3 points here in the second end.
No problem there for Julie. So Tippin scores a big 3 here in the second end. Score 3-2 for Tippin. Murphy having hammer going into the third.
There were a lot of made shots that end, Marion, just at the very end, and you always hate it as the skip. Your misses go up on the board.
They do, yeah.
But I mean, that's why you get paid the big bucks, right?
Do you?
No. If my teammates are listening out there, for an extra drink or something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, Murphy can't be too upset. They're you know, they're only down 1 point here. Giving up 3 is never fun, but they had 2 to begin with there, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, there's tons of game. We are playing 10 ends out here, so it's a tight game right off the bat. And most of these teams play 8 end games the entire season. It's not until you get to the provincial championships that you end up playing 10, or unless you're in the challenge round. Kind of calling it that. There's a different name that they're calling it these days, but essentially the last chance to get in there. And that was the only time that we were ever playing 10 before we came to the provincials, which, if you've been listening to the earlier broadcast, you know I'm a big fan of 8, so that's not a complaint, rather just an observation.
10.
I appreciate my teammate Cassandra sending me some wine glass emojis.
Pearl.
We haven't had a chance too much this week, Danielle, to have a couple of glasses of wine. We've been so darn busy.
No, it's been
9-4.
they're long days for everyone involved here. The curl on is here from sun up to sundown. The ice makers never see the sun.
Yeah.
Our guys at Title Sports Live and behind the scenes, the people you don't see or hear on the broadcast, they are here working their butts off. They've been did a good job last night changing the sheets around. So for last night's feature game, the Epping McDonald game, they brought that to you, and they were here just before anyone else was in the building, changing the sheets back so it could bring you this feature game.
Yeah, and even the ice techs, some of the teams, they can request to come out here after the final draw of the day if they'd like to throw rocks. So the ice team have been so good to the players and getting the ice, you know, all fixed up for them to get out there and throw some rocks at
Really good.
God knows what time of night. So they have extremely long hours here.
Line.
And I think that's what people don't see, and it's the reason why we mention it, because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make these events seem flawless. One thing we haven't talked a lot about are the volunteers out here too. There's been a great group of volunteers who have been around all week. They've been very helpful to everyone here and always have big smiles on their face. So thank you to everyone who took the time to volunteer for this event. It can't happen without them.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think you can go a little hard. 16
Between ends, you see the players gathering. And what they're doing, they're just making a quick end plan, talking about how they're going to approach the next end. So you can bet that Team Tippin, their discussion went a little something like, we'd like to force Team Murphy to a single point here, and that's what their strategy has said so far here. And Team Murphy, happy by throwing that corner guard and now using it. They're saying they'd like to get a deuce.
Line's getting there. Line's great. Straight close, straight close, straight close. Yep. Good. Yep. Little deeper. Yep. Nice shot.
So we do have some questions here this morning, Mary.
Okay.
Coming in through Twitter. And again, we love your questions. So if you do have questions, please feel free to tweet at us. I'm at Inglis Danielle.
And I'm at Mary Chilvers.
So while we watch this run back from Team Tippin, the question is, if the first rock of the end nibbles the top 12 foot and the second rock nose hits and is now out front, is it part of the 5-rock rule? Yes, it is. No matter how it got there, as long as it's above the rings during that 5-rock rule, it is part of the 5-rock rule.
That's a Good shot there.
Beautiful. Great shot by Rachel.
Yeah, Steph's draw there was a great draw. It was probably just a little bit too high in the rings, which allowed that easy run back. She wants to get this one a little deeper.
Line's good. Go ahead, straight. Line's good. Starting to curl. Yep, straight, hard line. Hard. Yep. Hard still. Hard still. Hard. Yep.
Just a little lighter on the weight. Still okay.
Just like.
And now this will allow Team Tippin to play the come around the center line. And we have a question this morning, Mary, from Stephen. Good morning, Stephen. If you haven't already done so recently, he's just joining the broadcast, can you recap if any of today's players have National Scotties experience? And in fact, there's only one person on the ice out here who does.
Yes, and that would be Janet Murphy. Actually, back in 1995, Janet represented Nova Scotia at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Now, Julie Tippin has national mixed experience. She actually won the national mix with John Epping.
So these players do have quite a bit of experience behind them, maybe not necessarily at the Scotties, but every time you get a chance to play at a national event, I would say every time you get a chance to play at a level up, you learn something more, and the experience of that is invaluable. Of course, certain events come with more pressure than others, but there's certainly more pressure every level you go up.
Curl first. 14-6.
Grace Holyoke on the Murphy team, the lead here. She's actually, well, and Justin. I'm not sure if Justin has been to a national. I believe she has. But Grace, U21, has won the provincial twice, so she's played in a national a couple of times. But yeah, the only person here to play in a Scotties is Janet.
Now on the Tippin team, these ladies have played at the Olympic trials last year.
Yeah, we can.
They were the ones in the bright orange jackets. Couldn't miss them.
Yep, I like it.
And the questions are just flying in this morning, Mary. Will you and Mary be calling tonight's final? I will be on the call with Pete, and Mary will be enjoying the game from a different viewpoint.
Yeah, I will be with Pete this afternoon for the men's 1-2 game. And then you get to do the women's final with Pete, and I get to do the men's final with Pete.
Whoa. Yeah!
And back to our game here. Just coming up a little bit light on this one.
Yeah, if they had the weight, that would have been the perfect line.
This is going to give Justin a little chance here to get through here. Got to be careful. There's lots of yellow rocks out front for Julie to use, so Justin's got to watch the angles here.
Hair tighter, line's good.
I think she would want to put this completely straight frozen on her own. Otherwise, if there's any kind of an angle, they have a run back double.
Line's gonna be good.
They're having to negotiate this
Still
port.
riding this a little. Whoa.
Just kissed off of that and unfortunately left a double the other way.
Good throw. I expected it to curl a bit harder. Double.
So Julie's going to throw the double here. She will roll to the side, which is a good thing for Justin.
Close. Close. No. Whoa. Whoa.
Very nice shot by Julie.
Full, and she will sit 3 in the rings. Looks like that blue at the back almost made it out, but nice. So it will be a freeze or even just a straight draw for Justin.
One thing about Justin that you don't see in a lot of the women's skips here this week is she is not afraid to put rocks in play.
Nope. And that can go one of 2 ways. You can score a ton of points, or you can also give up a ton of points. But you haven't seen them give up a ton of points, and that just simply speaks to how well they've been playing.
Line's good. Whoa, not 8. Line's great. Got a curl. Line's great.
Might even want to take it back a bit. That's a great shot by Justin. Kind of good because if she plays the run back, it might jam. So she's just going to probably draw in here, Julie.
And you could see how much that curled right at the end. They were almost on the yellow rock that's over by the corner in the top 12. And it finished hard to be pretty much completely buried.
What did you guys get on here? Yeah, and I didn't sweep it.
So a really good chance for Julie to get one in here and hold Justin Murphy to 1 point in this end. This one's got some curling to do.
No. Whoa, whoa, no, you can't bounce.
And a beautiful shot by Julie.
They don't get really out there, they curl early.
So the only shot Justin really has here is this little tap back on the blue. Try to tap it to bite the button. She could do this and still score 2 points.
Just tap the guard to T-line. Correct.
And again, you just want that
It's only a half
back
guard.
button weight. When you're playing the tap, a common misconception is you need to throw a lot of weight in order to move it. Whereas all you need to do is throw
Little more.
the weight of where you need the rock to land plus about another rock. So in this
Not
case, they're
quite
trying to
as
land on
suicide, but
T,
still
so it's
big.
about back button-ish back 4.
Last rock for Justin Murphy.
Line, yeah.
Third end of play.
Line, yep, line.
Kind of wondered about the, let's see what kind of weight she had. A little bit light.
Yeah, it wasn't a case where she wanted to overthrow it heavy and run their blue back onto the yellow rock that Julie had just frozen to them. So single point, we are all tied up here after 3 ends.
Okay.
Yeah, so not these two teams, not surprising that we're having a really close game. Said Team Murphy, they like to have a lot of rocks in play, but Julie's also fairly comfortable with rocks in play, and we've seen that throughout this week, and we know especially for Julie, she can throw the rock hard and accurately and can get her team out of some trouble with that. So when you have that kind of firepower on your team, you have the confidence to be able to play a little bit of a junkier game.
Line's good. Starting to curl, line's good. 2. Line's great. Yep. Good throw.
So Julie's actually calling Tess to throw back 8 weight, trying to move that center guard over a bit.
Then, yep. Hard! Hard! Whoa, then, Rachel! Hard!
So basically what had happened there was a bit of a miscommunication. Julie was calling on line thinking it was about back 8, whereas the girls are thinking it was a little bit heavier, and so
she would have liked to move it over a little bit more, but it actually is not a bad shot, and she rolls onto the rings, which is a great result.
Which is also why you're seeing teams playing less and less weight for their tick shots. I mean, we saw Team McDonald last night. They were they're even like top rings weight for their ticks, which almost got them in trouble a bit when they made contact with the rocks and left 2 guards up fairly close to the center line. But when made correctly, it can be ideal to split off into 2 corners.
Nice second shot there by Grace Holyoke. Try it again here.
Yeah, I guess what the question from Tess and Hack was just, if we do play the tick, would we not tick it right in behind their guard? That was a concern. And Julie's just saying if we tick it thin enough, or we tick it enough to shoot it out a little bit further, that would be ideal.
Well, the beauty too, again, is she can roll onto the rings again here. Or close to even make a corner guard.
Really hard! Really hard. Really hard! Go.
And that's the danger when you're playing. She had the right weight there. Okay. And something to note, and you wonder why that rock started going off to the left and then came back to the right. When you tap a rock, it picks up the opposite turn to which you were throwing. So in this case, they were throwing the clockwise turn. When they hit the blue rock, the blue took the counterclockwise turn, and that's how it ended up in this situation.
Whoa.
And the straw attempt around will come up light, but where they landed, not too bad because it is blocking the center, and Julie's going to have to deal with those 2 rocks.
A little bit. You're going to end up hitting this one. I'm sitting here. That's
the lineup, as you can see from this angle, doesn't look as great from the Hack, which is why Rachel is asking the question. It's absolutely there, and I agree with Julie that if they were to play the double the other way, they're just rolling into the corner guard and blocking off their draw path again. Team Tippin has the hammer at this end.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Really hard. Okay.
That was Rachel's worry when she was sitting in the hack. Interesting, both Rachel and Tess questioned their shots. Tess with the tick shot there, and when you're in the hack and you have any kind of doubt, you often will not make the shot, which is what happened in both of these instances.
Line's good.
Yeah, so that's a case of, and this is what you do as the top teams out here is, if there's a secondary shot that you can play and will achieve about the same thing, you should probably change the shot in that case, defer to the sweeper, because as you mentioned, the shot won't be made. And all of the crowd they're sitting off to the side, so if you heard the ooh from the crowd, they can't see the line very well until it makes it past the rock, and it looks pretty close from the side.
Yeah.
So thrilling the crowds this morning with the come-arounds. Now it did, of course, pop up the middle, and you can see in between, there's a hole. Can play the hole, but I think the run would be the call. They need to get that rock in the middle is their problem. The rock in the back four is not really a big issue at this point.
Yep.
And I think what happened there is they were getting pretty focused on that rock in the back, and she was trying to make that too good. They could have just peeled that out. It would have been a better result.
This is half a broom head less than Steph. Line's good. Line's good. Tighter path. Line's good. Starting to really curl. Yep. Yep. Line's good. Yep, 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 still. Yep, hard, hard. Yep, yep.
Great scrub to get that by. Another big ooh from the crowd.
Yeah.
It's quite entertaining listening to how the crowd is reacting. Yeah, but it's fun to see them so engaged.
It is. It's great.
This will be a double thrown by Megan Balsden. Just be a single. I think Team Tippin right now, they're just struggling with either their releases or where to put the broom down right now, because they're not missing it one way or the other consistently. Some are on the wide side, some are on the tight side. So I'll have to figure out an adjustment for that. Nice guard here by Janet.
It's probably going to jam, but I think it doesn't matter.
And Julie needs to get this opened up so she has some sort of a decent shot for her rocks.
Yep. Yep. Hard.
And a beautiful shot by Megan, getting all the rocks going,
That's a
losing
great
one
shot.
in the house. That's what you needed. Always nice, too, from a personal standpoint, to come back and make a huge shot after a miss. And let's have a second look at that one.
She makes the double, pops the one off the top 8 foot.
Bite the 8 foot.
That really helps her skip
Full top 8
at this point.
And that's what you need. You need your vice to be able to bail you out of trouble. And now with the 5 rock rule, you're finding the bail point is now more on the vice rocks rather than the second rocks.
Yes.
Justin's making a draw in behind the corners, wants to keep this above the rings, bury it so there isn't a double available.
Bite 8 foot. Line's real good. Line's great.
Definitely
Hard.
needs to get this in the rings or it's going to be a, yeah, that's just way light, and that's going to give Julie a chance to sit 2 here now.
It's tricky, Mary, throwing that spot. We've seen right off the bat, I don't think I've seen one player make that shot when the broom is in the 4 foot trying to come across the line in that particular spot, make it on the first try.
Yeah.
So it's just a different path than the rest of the ice.
So talk about a turnaround here. All of a sudden, Julie was looking like she was in loads of trouble, and now she's actually got a shot to sit 2 here and possibly score 2 in this end.
The side that curls, big scrub to hold the line on this rock. And they do. They had wanted to get a bit of a flop towards the outside of the rings because now, see, and roll is available.
Hit and flop under. 10.
Team Murphy really needs the roll under the rock. They'd like to flop it just behind theirs, but their alternative is to flop it even further behind the corner guard. Because if they leave it open, it will be an open hit for 2.
Clean. Yep. Yep. Hard!
Just once it hits that center line, it's gone. So this will be a draw for 2. Julie Tippin just needing to hit the paint.
Yeah, they're really getting caught on the sweep calls. They were woeing halfway down there thinking this is fine, this is good, and then panic. And then it over curls. So it's
Yeah, it's running pretty straight.
And this will be good for the deuce. Team Tippin with a 5-3 lead after 4 ends over Team Murphy. Truly been a back and forth game here in the women's semifinal. We've had a few missed shots, but then also a few great shots that have resulted in our current score, and it's mainly come down to the skips rocks and what's been made and missed. So we've seen Justin miss a couple and Julie taking advantage, and then vice versa. Again, the winner of this game goes on to face Rachel Homan in the final, and that will be tonight at 7 p.m. Please note that 7 p.m., not 7:30, as we have been having draws all week, or half an hour earlier. And Mary, I understand you've been teammates with one of the players out on the ice here.
Yeah, I guess somebody was doing their homework on Twitter. Yeah, I actually, Julie Tippin's first year out of juniors, she came to play with myself and Janet McGee and Lori Eddy, actually.
It's fine. Good.
Yeah, what year did they say that was? 05 or something like that?
05.
Okay, that's good to know. I would not have remembered the year.
So we have everyone else's bios up here that we're reading. Maybe we need to have our own up here so we can remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Pete was quizzing me last night on some of my own bio knowledge, and I couldn't even remember either. So, geez.
Yeah.
But you know what? Thank you to all of our wonderful Twitter followers for remembering for us.
Yep. Really curling now. Hard. Yep. Hard. Good sweep.
Team Tippin would really like to force Team Murphy to single here, so they've got a nice center line guard up. And Tess Bobby being asked to throw a rock around to the top four.
Yeah, it's going to be really tight for
Something
line.
to talk about here, Mary, about we say top four, but why would they want it top four as opposed to top button or T-line?
Yeah, if they put a T-line or top button, it just gives the other team too much chance to get in there to also, what's the word I'm thinking, make the scoring area smaller for the team that has, they put the first one in there. So typically top four, top 8 is the best position.
Because that one came behind the T-line, I think even if it was above, Team Murphy's just going to ignore it, use their corner guard.
Room.
That's key. One of the things is if you throw a corner, better have a plan to use it.
There it goes.
We've seen a lot this week of putting the corner guard up and never using it.
Yep. All the way. All the way hard. All the way hard. All the way
It's
hard.
a great
hard,
shot here.
Hard.
Beauty.
Perfect. Not quite fully buried, but yeah, it is a beauty. See from the hack, there's about half of a rock. Solid half.
You can definitely get at it with all the curl in this spot.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I don't mind the draw. Yeah. This way? Yeah.
Now the fun part about this is you could get to that spot using either turn because of how much it curls. We saw the other rock curl right out the other side. Now the reason why you might select this one is because at least if you come up short, you might be blocking your rock that's in the back rings.
Whoa, you're really, really wide. No, you gotta wait. Megan. Hard! Hard! Go. Keep going all the way. Go, right till it stops. Hard, you got it. Go, a little bit more. Go.
And they would have liked for that one to have curled up just about half a rock more. It is edge on edge.
So Stephanie would love to hit this one and roll behind that corner guard again.
They're throwing a bigger weight at this too, thinking that even if they don't get the roll perfectly, they could potentially get the double.
Whoa. Straight, yep, 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 yep. Hard, hard roll, hard. Good shot.
It was a bit of an in-betweensy. Didn't quite get the roll, didn't quite get the double, but still moving the rocks away from the forefoot.
I think it's just off nose. You like firm? Okay. Yeah.
Double attempt for Rachel Strybach.
Whoa, whoa, yeah, hard. Hard. That's fine.
And right through the uprights. Not a big hole there. But fortunately, where they left it means that Team Murphy has to deal with it. Again, they're throwing some big weight with a tight broom. Same concept. Him roll is ideal, but if they miss that, then they can always go get the double. And again,
In
just
between.
in betweensy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Those ones are tough to call because when you're throwing that much weight, you mentioned the two shot options. What you didn't want to do is oversweep it and roll it out.
Away. Yeah. Yeah.
But on the other hand, Megan Balsden's heading down to the other end of the ice. They're going to have a discussion about what to do next.
Talk, so. Sorry, Steph. You threw that great.
Let's have a listen in here.
Okay, I like it. No, there's nothing. You can't do anything anymore. No, I like that. If you like that, tolerance is the guard, obviously. Yeah, exactly. It's not horrible if you hit the guard. So, hack. Okay.
So they're going to be playing, I believe that was a board weight shot. We last heard Megan
saying. So I assume it's going to curl hard with board.
Like to play a hidden flop on the blue rock that's in the side 8. And the tolerance on this shot is to clip the blue guard.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No.
She really straightened that one out.
No, never, never, never. So hard.
It's the second way of doing that and getting it done. Looks like they might be close to sitting second. Love this call. Again, that shows the patience that Team Murphy has. If they can just play a split there, sit second and third rock, we'll open up the back one potentially to hit that one later on in the end.
Line's good. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Yep. Gotta go for line. Gotta go line. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa! Whoa, whoa, no, whoa, whoa. Sit. Okay.
So what Justin did there, she saw that it was curling up so hard, they just went for the straight tap. Oh, great weight by Janet, just didn't have the line, so this opens up the door for Team Tippin to sink a rock in there. And a freeze would be good in this position.
For anyone out there that doesn't know, Janet is Justin's mother. We've got a couple of parent-child combinations out here this week. Glenn Howard curls with his son, Scott.
This rock is warping in and looking pretty close.
Hard!
And that's a beauty. Might have liked to have kept that a hair higher and a hair more in front of the blue, but still.
Double peel those.
Now, Team Murphy's got to get rid of some of the ones
you
at the
just
front.
think
You can
single
see
peel?
this, the finish that this
Do
had.
you just think the single
They
peel?
were sweeping it a bit to curl, but they didn't need to. It was doing quite enough curling on its own.
It's going to give us access, but we can still use it. Okay. Just peel the yellow. Hard! 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 Gotta go hard! Okay.
We're hoping to just straight peel that off, so now they left it. But there, you can see there's the blue rock at the top, but there's also a blue right above there.
Which is not a bad position there for the Murphy team with those blues the way they ended up. She may need those.
And Julie was indicating that as well.
You think it'll come, like, we got so much finish, you think it'll come enough with tight? Wait. Okay. Even if you have to go top 12, it's fine, if you have to.
So Julie's going for the straight guard here.
Okay, tight. Starting the yellow.
You can see those two blue rocks that she's keeping her eye on.
It's really got to curl. Yep! Hard till it stops. Hard! Go, 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 go!
Big scrub to finish
Go, go,
this
go,
rock.
Go, 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 go!
And they've left a hole. See from the hack that there is a port for them to come through.
Yeah. Ideally.
And the way it curls too, they can over curl and avoid a potential jam, or at least move it around and not move their blue too far.
Gotta unlock that, I think.
It's all about where they leave their shooter and where they're leaving Team Tippin's rock. They want to be shot after this. But they also need to leave themselves a shot on their last.
Right to the nose of it.
So first shot here for Justin Murphy, fifth end.
Hard still. Hard still. Okay. Gotta clear those other two. Yep, yep, yep. Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that's the problem. She did take away that shot over there with those blues that could have possibly helped her on her last shot.
And if she had clipped less of that guard, she would have been rolling through there and it wouldn't have been an issue.
As opposed to her being able to make like something like this, right? Anyway, I'm much tighter. It's fine. Same ice is good.
Some people may be looking at the situation and
like
say,
just
why don't you run the yellow onto the blue and sit 4? Well, if they do that, it would leave Justin with even though she'd be facing 4, she'd be left with more of a shot to score 1. So if they can just throw a guard on this, it's their best chance at stealing, or if Justin makes a really nice shot, forcing to 1.
Yeah, hard all the way. All the way! Really gotta go hard! Go hard! Hard! You got it! Hard! A little bit more! Go, 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 go!
Again, they have left a bigger hole.
So Justin's tightened up the ice here. She's going to throw a little more weight on this one. Going to throw normal weight hit.
Just clean, whoa. Gotta curl. Curl the whole way.
Nice shot by Justin. Beauty. So that will be a score of 1 for Team Murphy. Here in the 5th then, with Tippin up 5-4. We'll have more curling coming your way right after the 5th end break.
Why is curling such a passion for Canadian farmers? We think we know. In farming and curling, the idea is the same. It's about friends and family, teamwork, using the right tools, and getting it done under pressure. That's why New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid are proud to support Curling Canada, helping to grow the game we love. From your team at New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid, here's to success in the field and fun in the rink.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all 3.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
I believe hard work and honest sweat are the building blocks of a person's character.
I believe farming nurtures the close family ties that make life rich in ways money can't buy.
I believe that true happiness comes from watching your crops ripen in the field, your children grow tall in the sun, your whole family feel the pride that springs from their shared experience.
I believe in farming because it makes all this possible. Long before the snow begins to melt, planning for the seeding season is underway. Start seeding off strong by using the right drill for the job. New Holland's P2082 disc drill precisely and consistently places seed and fertilizer for rapid nutrient uptake, and it does it all in one pass. Experience equal and even emergence through the innovation of New Holland. To learn more, visit your local New Holland dealer.
And welcome back to the 2019 Women's Ontario Scotties Tournament of Hearts semi-final matchup, brought to you by Curl On and Title Sports Live. I'm Mary Chilvers along with Danielle Inglis, and if you're just joining us, we have a score of 5-4, Team Tippin over Team Murphy, with Team Tippin having the hammer in the sixth end of play.
It's really been a big back and forth game, most of it coming down to the skip shots and what they're making or what they're leaving. Which sounds like a fairly obvious comment when you say it. Well, of course the skips rocks are going to end up on the scoreboard. However, that really has been the story of the game so far.
Deep then. Go, 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 go.
Yeah,
go,
it has
go.
been the momentum swinging back and forth a bit here. Justin Murphy missed both her shots in the second end to give Tippin 3 points in that end. Fourth end, Tippin looks like she is in loads of trouble. Megan Balson makes a nice triple. And Tippin ends up scoring 2 in that. And then in the 5th, Murphy makes a nice hit and stick for the single.
And we have more action for you today at 2 p.m. And that's 2 p.m., not 2:30 p.m. Be featuring the page 1-2 game on the men's side. That's Team McDonald, Team Epping. And then at 7 p.m., it will be the women's final, which is Team Homan versus the winner of this game.
So we just saw Danielle test Bobby coming around the guard, and she put it in the hack, and that is very typical in the 6th end of play on arena ice when they come out to mop the surface. It quite often will be just a slight bit faster in the 6th end.
Got a curl.
That's a hair faster.
Whoa,
Plus,
straight.
5th end break can be great,
Curl
so you can
first.
gather yourself
Whoa,
together.
straight.
But the other thing that it does is it also stops the momentum that the players have built up throughout the game. It's not uncommon, like you said, Mary, to see a rock thrown heavy.
2 great shots by Grace.
A come around called by Team Tippin. They do have the hammer in the 6th. They're in a pretty good position. They'd like to score on this end, ideally, to maintain the lead. Of course, with the hammer, you're always going for your deuce, but even here, if they were to score 1, still a pretty powerful position.
All the way. Well, I know, I don't really want it back.
They're sweeping it to curl, but really they should have just left it grab on its own to curl in, because now you see if you're sweeping to try to curl and it's already heavy, you're just dragging it further. This opens the door for Stephanie Matheson to make a freeze on this rock that's sitting on the back button.
Line's good. 7-6. Rube has not curled yet. Curl first. Curl first. Whoa. No, it really has to bend. Okay.
Just a hair too much weight, and that will rub off. It's fully exposed from the hack. You can even see a bit of air.
What you guys like? Okay. Yep. 10.
There's a good shot at that from the hack, where you can see they do have some air to him rolled there. They don't need to come close by the guard the way this finishes. Pretty important to get the roll on top here, because that rock is behind the button.
Yeah, roll away. Yep. Hard. 10-6, good throw.
They're trying to, recognizing that I was running straight, Julie was trying to call it on at the end to roll it out, but
10.
because now they didn't really want to leave it in this position, as now, as you can see, Team Murphy calling the hit and roll in front.
Clean. Clean, yep, yep. Hard. 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 Right up. Hard. Hard, yep, hard.
Get the hit, but that will roll right out the side. And Team Murphy getting caught with a curl. Overheard Justin talking about the fact that she had seen Rachel's run there, and when she threw the hit, but what you also have to factor in is sure, you can have a look at how the opposition is throwing it and how it's reacting at that spot, but you also have to be certain about how they threw it. And how does their player's release look as opposed to your own player's release, who's going to be throwing the next rock in that spot?
I don't really like just the top one. No. Like, I don't want to give them a chance to come first. Like, I either like the double or I want to go first, but I'm okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. No, I know. No, that's why. Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, just the one.
So taking a peel on the center line guard. Again, they have time for Megan to come down and have a chat. Time is not a factor. They're over 21 minutes. Plenty of time on the clock for the back half of the game.
Clean, 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 clean.
Justin has a couple of options here. She could maybe put up another guard, thinking that Julie will continue to peel the guards. She is choosing to come into the rings here with Janet's first
Line's
rock.
good. Tighter than Steph. Close for line. Line's good. Starting to curl. Line's great. Whoa, whoa, curl first. Go ahead, yep, go ahead, yep, yep. Line's great, yep. Hard, hard, hard. Hard, 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 yep. Nice.
That's a great line on that shot.
Okay.
Well, what Julie really wants out of this shot, she wants to, of course, remove the blue, but also wants to stick her shooter around the house, and that'll just put the extra pressure on Team Murphy, force them to make a play on it.
Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Really hard, really hard, really hard, really hard, really hard.
Julie wasn't paying attention to the jam back there. It was pretty close, but in good news, they avoided the jam and stuck around in the rings.
So Jess was looking at hitting that one in the wings, but her mom overruled her on this one.
Line's good.
Her mom, who's also throwing the rock currently.
Line's good.
You know what? I've been so impressed with the way the two of them have
Just
interacted on the ice together.
Yeah.
Played them
Line's
several
really
times
nice.
this season, and they have a really good dynamic.
Curl
They're
when you
both,
can,
I
curl
would
when
say,
you
cut
can,
from the
yep.
same cloth. They're
Yeah.
very
Yep, yep,
alike,
yep.
and
Yes.
sometimes
Hard,
that can
hard,
be
hard,
a
hard, hard,
disaster,
hard.
but
Keep going.
they've
Keep
really
going.
made it work well this season.
Well, they have the combination of youth and experience on their team. The two young girls lead and skip
Nice.
straight out of junior curling here. And then you've got,
Okay.
well, Janet's definitely a veteran. And Stephanie has got a ton of experience at this level as well. So it's a really good combination, I think.
Clean, 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 clean.
Nice peel from Megan. Avoids any sort of jam.
And Team Tippin, too, you know, they have, Megan is just new on the team this year, although they have, you know, curled together in the past, and they've gained a ton of experience when they played in the Olympic trials in 2017. Like, that's huge, and I can really see a difference in Julie herself. how she calls the game, etc. You know, they've had the same coach for a number of years now, so.
Barry Westman.
Yeah.
The extra weight really held it for a long time, so this is a bit less ice.
And you know what? You see some teams who are playing the Olympic trials, people make assumptions there. There's some clear favorites, of course, who are going to win it, and you say, well, why do those other teams almost even bother? I've literally heard those comments, and it's for exactly what you just said, Mary. You need to get your experience somewhere.
Yes. The higher the level that you can play at,
Line's good.
the more you're going to get better and better at this game.
No, line's good. Line's good. Hard, yep.
And that was a very confident call, and it looks like it might have just come up in the nick of time.
Yeah, good sweeping.
That was the danger. They almost left a very straightforward double for Tippin to sit 3.
Okay, good call.
Guess then she knows his ass, and then I have a pretty tough double. We could probably lose them all, maybe? You think we could lose them all if I throw it really hard on that side? It's no different than getting forced by like guarding or something, which is kind of scary. So I guess it's probably just best to blast them. I mean, we might get forced, but we probably will, but we might be able to blank. I'd really rather try and have a shot for. You don't think I could lose them all? You don't think I could lose them all? No. Okay, well then don't you think we might as well try to save the shooter? Yeah.
So the problem is right now that they're trying to negotiate is the drag effect. So when you have two rocks that are together, they essentially act as one. So the way you can remember that is you almost take the first rock out of equation and hit the second rock. Wherever you hit that second rock would be where the rock would go. So they're concerned about where Team Murphy left it. The blue's going to be jamming back onto their yellow. Now the smart call and what they talked about was that they need to stick their shooter around, so they'll have their 2 other rocks sitting second and third.
That's a good shot by Julie.
10. Seeing quite a few of them run here. Okay. It's wider than we've been. Like that. Yeah. 10. It's a little wider than we've been, but we've seen a few of them run here. Yeah.
So last rock here for Justin Murphy. Just going to hit this one on the nose.
Clean. Clean. Yep, 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 yep. Clean.
Beautifully thrown shot. Even gets the angle on here. So Team Tippin will be forced to a single point here in end 2. So mission accomplished for Team Murphy.
10.
Last rock, 6th end. Team Tippin, he's hitting stick to pick up the single. And they do, and Team Tippin, 6-4 over Team Murphy after N6. There are also a few other provinces competing down this weekend. Out in BC, they have their playoffs set so far. On the men's side, Team Cotter, Team Montgomery, Team Wenzek, and Team Barrie. The women's side, Team Wark, Team Brown, Team Hudima, and Team Richards. Also in Northern Ontario, the men are playing down right now, but it's really interesting, and all eyes were on it last night. The game of Jacobs versus the young Tanner Horgan team. In last year's provincial, the Horgan team really gave the Jacobs team a scare. Almost was them hanging to the briar, and as a matter of fact, it was Team Horgan winning the game last night over Team Jacobs 9-6. And they still have one more game left in the round robin. But Team Horgan currently undefeated. Team Jacobs sitting at 5-1. Trevor Bono sitting at 3-2. He's the last year's Canadian World Mixed silver medalist. And on the women's side in Northern Ontario, Krista McCarville is leading the pack at 4-0. Team Angie and Team Brunton at 2-2. And Team Beaudry searching for their first win at 0-4. And the way that they do that is they play a double round robin.
Line's good. Curling now. Whoa. Get off.
Worried about the weight on this one.
Now
It
it's
looks
curling. It took a long time to curl. Good one.
looks fine. I was thinking that one looked a little strong.
Excuse me. Yeah, and as did they. It took, you heard Justin say it took a little while to curl.
Yeah.
But once it does, it curls nicely, loses that weight, slows down.
You need to go, but whoa, it looks tight. Whoa, Brian.
Didn't really want this one in the rings.
Yep. Hard.
That kind of helps the Murphy team. A little surprised she wants to hit here. Yeah, I think just draw. So Grace just is throwing basically the same shot she just threw. She just needs a few more feet on it for weight.
Little bit more line. Line's good. Starting to curl. Go ahead. Line's great. Still room. Curl when you can. 16. Yep. You got a peach. Go. That's good.
It's a very beautiful shot
Beauty.
by Grace. Honestly, one of the keys to the Murphy's team success is how well Grace has been throwing and setting up the ends. We had talked off the top about how Team Murphy likes to go more offensively, but they couldn't do that without the ends being set up. Because if you don't have the guards in play, if you don't make those come arounds, you're certainly not going to be generating that offense.
Yeah, you gotta go. Gotta make it curl. Right all the way till it stops. Gotta go till it stops. Really hard. Really hard. A little more, a little more, a little more. Go, 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 go.
I'd say that guard is a little bit long. That's going to give the Murphy team here a chance to get at one of those yellows
11?
and roll again over to the corner.
Clean. Whoa! Whoa! Hard curl. Hard to stick, hard.
A little
Nice
rub
shot.
off their own on the side, and they will stick in.
How much you see?
So from the hack, looks like they might be able to see about 3/4 of that.
Board.
Now it's even bigger, almost the whole thing. So a hit and roll called for Team Tippin.
Yeah, so Rachel Strybosch will want to hit this blue one and hopefully roll back over to the
Megan.
4-foot area. Gonna roll a bit too far here.
We did stop in time to sit shot number 1 and 2.
Again?
Again, that
Got
yellow
10-4.
rock is almost fully exposed.
11.
And even if they do jam on the back yellow, that's not a big deal. The biggest part of this shot is getting that roll right in behind the corner guard.
Clean. Yep. Yep. Hard! 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 Hard!
Oh, and they just rub off the guard. And unfortunately, they end up clipping their rock in the house and spinning the shooter out. So, huge miss.
Yeah, I like the peel. I like the peel. Yeah, just you gotta hit the board first before this rock.
And Julie Tippin, seeing that this is the problem rock, this is the rock that Team Murphy would be using to come around, is just going to straight peel it out. Going to avoid the jam at the back.
Yep. Hard!
Very nice peel by Megan.
I think we have to remove it. Yeah. 10?
So Janet was originally talking about playing a backline sort of tap, and Justin was more in favor of the hit and roll, removing it.
Clean.
Well, I think by playing the hit, there's still a chance they could actually blank this end, Danielle. If they start getting more rocks in play, they're going to be committed.
Hard!
Good shot.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a more comfortable place. They're not really in a good position to be set up for 2.
Yeah. Little late in the end.
And again, it depends on how hard they want to commit to a deuce in this. And, well, by that call, it said, well, we'd like to leave the door open for the blank.
Yeah.
Hard! Whoa! Clean.
Julie's team just needs to keep
Yep.
sitting 2 in the house here in order to force Justin.
It'll probably at least half buried on the tee line, so.
And this call says we really want to go hard for 2. Calling it back 4 here. And the reason they want it in the back is you can see that rock that's in the top 12 is there for a run back. So if they keep as much separation as possible between this rock and that one, that's ideal.
Really tight, yeah, line. Hard, hard line. Hard line. You're on the front. Yep, 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 yep. Okay.
Now it'll be Julie throwing a draw in, but instead of in the back, they want to keep this above the tee. It's not so much looking for like a blank end anymore, Mary, so you can bet Justin will be going hard for their deuce.
So 14-8.
Justin's been very impressive here this week. As I said, she is just out of juniors. And I was talking to her mom last night asking her why she thinks Justin has done so well. She's, you know, she says Justin's a very smart girl. I think also Justin eats and breathes this game. She's never one to miss watching a curling game on TV. And that's where you really learn because, you know, her strategy is very advanced for someone her age.
Absolutely. I've been so impressed with her strategy. We've seen there are some younger teams in the field, and we could see sort of the, I like to call the junior rust still on there with the calls. And she calls with confidence, and she calls a good game. But to the point of watching the games, Mary, we've had some viewers ask us, how do I improve my strategy? What can I do? What are your tips? And that is our tip. Watch the games, listen to the players, listen to the commentators, what they have to say. Now, it may not always apply at the club level, but you can always pick up some tips and tricks.
So a little discussion here. They might, I think Stephanie's changing the call here.
Hit and she can't hit and sit too, right? Okay.
Yeah, that double. Hang it, she picks it. I mean, I'm okay either way.
I like the double. We're gonna have to make a double on my second one, and it's probably a thin one, but it's for 3.
She knows his back.
Yeah. You think she'll play the double on second and third shot? Okay.
I don't mind.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, give ourselves. So just try it.
Yeah, nose is good though.
9?
9, yeah. Goes a little here.
Yeah, it gets to the center.
Yeah.
Again, they have lots of time on the clock, so they didn't need to call a timeout. Now, what's also interesting here, Mary, is that these are the only 2 teams in the field who have coaches. And they are currently in the final. Of course, Team Homan actually does work with a coach. However, he's not able to be here this week. But can't help but wonder, a little bit of correlation there.
Yeah, maybe.
Always nice to have another set of eyes out there. You've got lots of knowledgeable players. Double for Team Murphy. This is running. Needs to curl.
It's moving now. Look at how much that moves. Just didn't curl up enough for her.
Then I guess she has that double, eh? Because she can nose that too, right?
Yeah, you have to be by
Is that where? Yeah, I think. But she's gonna nose that if it's over here, right?
Yeah.
So then, right.
There's a couple call potentials here, Mary, that she could have done. But it all comes down to what do they want to leave Justin on her last? Do they want to leave her with a draw or a hit? And where they're putting the rock, what they're saying is, okay, she can have the hit against 3.
Yeah.
Because they could have put their rock sort of covering at least part of the yellow rock. And that would force a draw against 3. And here it is, Julie Tippin's last rock of the 7th end.
I think this one's more. Yep. Yep. Hard. Go, 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 go.
Now they're dragging it all the way back. Didn't want to leave that for any backing for a draw. Will be
more. Yeah.
Open draw to the 4-foot for Justin. She will be throwing against 3. Cannot use the backing. But this, again, this has kind of been the game. Julie's let Justin off the hook. Justin's let Julie off the hook, and those shots are really showing up on the scoreboard big time.
So this is not, you know, a gimme here. You know, especially I've seen out here this week. You get a little bit outside this line, and it'll run a bit. So your weight has to be pretty precise here.
Line's good.
It's like it is hanging out there.
Just as I had just said, you need to, as long as the weight's okay.
Hard.
Really going on this now for curl.
Hard.
And they couldn't come to the back one. It will be a steal of 1 for Team Tippin. They now take a 7-4 lead after 7 ends. It will be Team Murphy with the hammer in end 8. Yeah, it was a great point, Mary, that
I know.
I just said, okay, let him off the hook. It's a Skip's dream to have an open draw to the 4-foot. Well, that being said, it may look like a simple, straightforward shot, but under the circumstances, given that the winner of this game gets a trip to the final against Team Homan tonight at 7 p.m., even the simple, straightforward shots are not as simple because you're having to factor in nerves and how that might affect your throw. And that's where having the experience of playing at the provincial level, at the national level, at the world level really comes into play. You learn how to manage your emotions and manage how your reactions that the body has to those emotions.
Good now. Line's good. Line's really good. 15-2.
So I remember
really hard.
a story I told recently at the under 21 provincials as the guest speaker. Our team went to the Canadian juniors back in 2008. And to get to the juniors through the zones, regions, and even our final, we were beat Rachel in the final. We had an open draw to the 4-foot for the win. We had made that open draw to the 4-foot every single time. Great sweeping, got it there.
Line's good. Little
but when
tight.
I got to the nationals, we lost 3 games.
Really curling
on
now.
last rock, and that was all my fault. My heart was racing too much, and I gassed those draws.
You're holding it.
Yeah.
But you better believe I learned from that.
Right.
And
absolutely.
it's a tough lesson to learn. You never want to drop it at that point, but there's a lot more to curling past junior, and you learn from those things.
So 8th end of play here, and Murphy down 3 points with hammer. She's really going to go for it.
You might have to be in
this 8th
it's
end.
really wide.
Needs to score at least a 2,
well,
I would say.
Just top 12 is fine. No, okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Good shot.
Going to go for the double corner guard. Needs a good one here from Grace Holyoke.
Line's good. Curl, switch, curl, curl. It's good. Yep, keep going. Line's great. Yep, 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 yep. Nice. Good shot.
Nice corner guard. Now offense is your best defense, and that's what Julie's going for. There are 2 rocks along the center line, and she will be calling a center line guard, which again is something you see very commonly with the 5 rock rule. Not so much with the 4 rock. Of course, they'd be peeling perhaps at this point. Now they need to, because they can't peel, to find a different way to defend.
Tess Bobby put 2 really nice shots in for her too. So they are very guardable rocks. As long as this guard is nice and tight to the rings, it's going to be just as she called.
They would have actually liked to have left this higher,
A little higher,
because
yeah.
now they can roll onto the rings. Team Murphy can.
Do you like that? Do you like just hitting and rolling in off the top one? Okay. I think 10. Yep.
She could move all these yellow rocks around.
Clean. Whoa. Whoa. Close. Straight. Whoa. 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 Yep, yep, straight, yep. Good shot. What?
Getting the rock spread out again. This has been another strength of Team Murphy. Rearranging the rocks and having the patience.
And keeping your own shooter in play. It's very important.
Okay.
Rolled right in between. Speaking of keeping your shooter in play, it's a missed opportunity to put some serious pressure on Team Murphy. Because now these rocks not too much of a concern over at the side, in a good position to hit and roll off of. They're basically just talking up and back the ice about what kind of weight to throw. So they're going to play hack. You can get the roll with virtually any weight, but by playing hack, feeling that once the second yellow rock makes contact, it'll slow down enough to leave some rocks in the back to freeze on later in the end.
Whoa, 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 close. Yep. Whoa, yep. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Nice shot by Stephanie.
Great shot.
So Julie can see half of this rock. Megan's going to play the hit.
Whoa! No. Whoa. No, no, no.
Yep, 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 yep.
And there's the all-important stick around, Mary.
Yep.
Biting top 8.
So this is a really precise shot that Janet will be throwing. They need to corner freeze to that rock on an angle. The reason why they're putting it there is because if Julie tries to blast it, it should jam onto their other yellow. But again, it has to have the perfect line, perfect weight. Cannot tap this.
Whoa, room. Lots of line still. Nope. Yeah, definitely go around. Back 4. Hard. Hard, yep. Line's great. Hard. Keep going. Yep. Good call.
Yeah, so called the audible.
Or plan B.
I didn't realize how uncommon that was in curling until we got a couple people asking about that.
Yeah.
Figured it was appropriate with a Super Bowl Sunday coming up tomorrow.
Yep. Hard!
Great job.
Just roll on top. Yep, that's fine. Okay. Tight. Room. Whoa. 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 How heavy? Whoa. Yep. Hard. Hard. Whoa.
And a beautiful rock.
Good.
Yeah, that's in a great position if Julie takes it on.
Not bad. Actually, kind of. Yep. There. That good? Yeah. I started taking less and less. Like the swoopy draw is fine. Then when they were tighter, I started taking like more like that. Yeah.
She will ignore that blue rock there, rather playing a tap on her own yellow.
Yeah. Just tap it. The 4 foot. 14.6 probably.
Now we'll leave a short run back for Murphy. But again, it's still Team Tippin in control, so still a tough situation here for Team Murphy.
Whoa. No. Don't leave a hole.
And a smart call by Megan Balsden. She was recognizing it was a hair up and wanted to get that separation. So now there is a hole.
Yeah. I'm about to sneeze. Nope, it's gone. Yeah, we had to tighten it up. Yeah, I like that.
What?
Nose tap our blue to about T-line, and if she plays a slash, then it'll jam.
It's a precise tap
She
for
will.
Justin.
What
Needs
else
to
do you
tap
think?
it just to top
I
button.
think it's kind of our only shot. Unless you want to tap
No, I think
around.
you just got to tap it to almost get back to that back yellow, maybe.
Okay.
this one.
It's
this
tight.
Is the one she's gonna throw.
Yeah, it's tight edge on edge with the other yellow that's here.
Yeah.
So we can pretty much only go nose, but it'll take the other turn. Okay. The gear effect. That was for you, Mary. Okay. All right.
Oh, and
Yeah,
yes, that's
and
true. Even though it's edge on edge,
right?
if they have the perfect
T-line
weight
weight.
here, we'll go back, pick up the other turn, and could, with the right weight, could almost freeze to that back yellow.
Line's good.
Line's good. Room. Whoa, line. Hard, hard, hard. Hard, 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 hard.
Behind it. Oh, brutal.
And the unfortunate part about where it landed, if Julie noses this, I don't know if
I mean, she doesn't.
outside of a wide intern that
10.
Justin will really have a shot at one, even scoring this
Yeah,
end.
that was a little down. Like I have a little more room for error on this one. Is I'm gonna throw 10. Yeah. Okay, nose.
So a hit and stick for Julie Tippin here in the 8th end. We'll have Justin Murphy in a bit of trouble here on her last rock. This can be made perfectly.
All the way, never stop. Whoa! Whoa! No, stop! Whoa! No.
Bit of a panic off the top, but that will do the trick. Now, they didn't actually want to roll that far, because that opens
Either
up a
this
hole here.
Or this. Okay. This one is lower, so it's going to be coming off the back of it. Yeah. Yeah, that probably looks close. 10? I think more weight, like, that's really bad. Should curl the whole way off center line. I don't think so, because the center bolt is higher than the back of this one.
10?
Yeah. A little thinner than that.
Yeah, so Julie really let them off the hook. That shot could have almost been a game winner. That little open hit, because it would have been tough for Justin to even score one, but because they rolled, now they can play
10.
Rub off of the yellow.
Positive release should ride and then
hit and
curl
roll,
pretty
rub
hard.
off the yellow in there.
Like that?
That being said, this is not the easiest shot in the world
It's
Mary.
not. You still got to make it. And it's only for one. So either way, I think Julie's pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
Hair
So
more.
last rock, 8th end. T. Murphy needs a big shot to pick up the single.
You're going through the hole. You're through the hole.
And she finds the hole, and that is a steal of 4, and I bet we will see some handshakes here, Mary.
Yeah, game over.
Team Tippin advances to the final tonight at 7 p.m., and they will take on Team Homan.
Well, yeah, it started out, Danielle, pretty back and forth, but Tippin, forced to a point. She's up 2 playing the 7th, and then Murphy a bit heavy on her draw, and then, of course, that last shot there in the 8th kind of ended up this game. So that will conclude our coverage here of the 2019 Women's Ontario Scotties Tournament of Hearts semifinal, with Tippin defeating Team Murphy. And as Danielle said, Team Tippin will advance to the final here at 7 p.m. tonight, taking on Rachel Homan. But tune in today at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and we will be featuring Team John Epping up against Team Scott McDonald for the Page Playoff 1 versus 2 game. Until then, on behalf of the entire TSL crew, we wish you a wonderful afternoon.
Why is curling such a passion for Canadian farmers? We think we know. In farming and curling, the idea is the same. It's about friends and family, teamwork, using the right tools, and getting it done under pressure. That's why New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid are proud to support Curling Canada, helping to grow the game we love. From your team at New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid, here's to success in the field and fun in the rink.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all three.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
I believe hard work and honest sweat are the building blocks of a person's character.
I believe farming nurtures the close family ties that make life rich in ways money can't buy.
I believe that true happiness comes from watching your crops ripen in the field, your children grow tall in the sun, your whole family feel the pride that springs from their shared experience.
I believe in farming because it makes all this possible. Long before the snow begins to melt, planning for the seeding season is underway. Start seeding off strong by using the right drill for the job. New Holland's P2082 disc drill precisely and consistently places seed and fertilizer for rapid nutrient uptake, and it does it all in one pass. Experience equal and even emergence through the innovation of New Holland. To learn more, visit your local New Holland dealer.